Okay, so I just wanted to do a real quick tutorial about how to put some of these resistors onto our PCB here. And I also wanted to show you what to do in case you had some issues with solder on the back. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these resistors in. I'm going to be working with hole R3 and hole R4. So pretty simple to put these resistors in. You just slide this one end in the hole here and bend your other end over and stick it in the other half of the hole there. I'm just going to push mine down to do a nice neat look. Alright, so then on the back side, what you're going to want to do is just bend them at a 45. I'll show you what that looks like here in a little bit, but I'm going to bend them so they don't fall out. And then, not that it would make a difference, but I am going to put these both in so they look identical to each other. So I'm just going to make sure that the color codes match. Will the resistor work either way? Of course, but for my purposes, I'm going to make them match so they all look nice and neat. Alright, so bend that over to. And the back side's over 45. Alright, so now let's go ahead and flip over our board so we can do some soldering here. Alright, so hopefully we can see where I'm going to be soldering at. So soldering, pretty easy. I'm going to tin my soldering iron. I don't want a whole lot of globs on there because then you end up with issues on your connectors here in the back. Alright, so I have my iron ready here and I have my solder ready. So simply touch this wire that's coming through along with the copper connector. So we'll touch that on there just for a couple seconds and then come from the other side with the solder. Not quite hot enough yet. Alright, we'll do the same thing with the other side here. Alright, so those look okay. This one could use probably a little bit of work. Get rid of some of this solder on there. Alright, so what happens if you end up with a big mess? So let's go ahead and make a big mess here. Alright, so I just got some big blobs on there. And we do not want big blobs. So, what you're going to do, just going to take one of these. It's called a solder sucker. Maybe some of you guys remember these from when you were a kid. Your mom stuck this up your nose and sucked out your snot. Pretty gross, I know, but same principle. Alright, so in order to use one of these, you just push in, you hear the sucking sound. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our iron and we're going to get that hot and melted, and then just suck it right off of there. See, now I have a nice neat connection. So I'll do the same thing to this other one. Get it hot to where it melts. And I just pulled that off there. Perfect. And this one wasn't as neat as I liked it to, so I'm going to go ahead and do it on that one as well. So squeeze it in, get it hot, suck it out. Beautiful. You also have another option if you make a really huge mess, and that is called a braid. It's called desoldering braid. And in order to use that, it's kind of the same principle, but instead you're going to take this copper braid and you're going to lay it on top of wherever your mess is at, and then you're going to heat up the copper. And what it's going to do is it's going to suck the solder right into the copper there. So I just pulled every last bit of solder off of that connection, so now I'm going to have to resolder it real quick. So get it hot and perfect. Alright, so let's check the other side to make sure we've got good connections on the other side. Other side, you don't see any big messes or anything. They're all sturdy in place, so that's good. So back on the back side, what you're going to do is you're just going to trim these off at the top of your volcanoes. Alright, so now we just have 4 nice neat connections. Now you could continue on with the rest of your area. And you can see here I've got just a little bit of copper on there. That's alright. So the next thing we would do once we have several done, and then you probably can't see it, but there's just a little bit of browning from the rosin flux burning onto the board, and that's not a big deal. What you do is when you're done is you'll take a toothbrush or a brush and take some 90% alcohol and just rub those clean, and they'll be nice and shiny, so it won't be a big deal. So that's it. Show you how to put the resistors in there, showed you how to use your solder sucker, and also showed you how to use the desolder braid. So no matter how big a mess that you make, you can get it cleaned up pretty easily. That's it for this video. If you guys have any other questions, please let me know.